The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello everyone, Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well. I am joined by ladies who are going to be taking us through a very, very important and special discussion today. We are nearing Christmas, just a few days to get there and a few more days to get to the new year. And I hope that you are doing perfect. We want to know, where are you? What are you doing? What plans do you have? 2020 has been such a special year. And I mean really special because we have not had anything like this in the past. And today we want to talk about Christmas expectations during this year, Christmas with COVID, Christmas in masks. How do you feel about this Christmas this year? Families are gathering. What is your expectation? I would like to invite my guests, and as they join us, they'll be telling us what their names are and what their feelings are for this Christmas. Welcome, ladies. Kindly introduce yourself to my viewer.
Thank you, Betty. And it's always nice coming over coming over from home to your wherever you are. Yeah. So my name is Pauline Gekanga, and I'm a counselor and a mediator. And it's nice to come here to just discuss a different Christmas. So thank you.
Wow, you're welcome. Yes, my next guest.
Good morning. My name's Wilkista Juma. I'm a counseling psychologist, and I'm happy to be here today to discuss this very unique Christmas.
Wow. Good to have you, ladies. I am really, really hopeful that you will take us through this discussion so that those of us who are feeling that different or unique is a bad thing, but we are still able to pull through and have Christmas and still enjoy. So, looking at this year, Pauline, we have had lots of occurrences. The people who have lost their jobs, the people who had plans to travel and just go to different places and different countries to celebrate Christmas. But now people are wearing masks. There's a lot of social distancing. There's a lot of the MOH regulations that we should not go against. And yet it's Christmas. What is usually the normal Christmas like is, people are gathering together, families are happy, there's a lot of reunion, there's a lot of celebration. Do you think that is still possible in this year of 2020?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, definitely a different one because you've had people, of course, say, oh, we don't want to go celebrate Christmas up country now because we don't want to take COVID to our parents, because definitely parents in the rural are older. But then, of course, there are those who will say we'll do all the precautions, and they will actually do the precautions. So I think it's really, really different. And what comes to mind immediately you asked that question is the serenity prayer, like give me the ability to accept the things that I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. Because at times there are things we can change, there are things that we cannot change. I think the COVID season has shown us that there are things we cannot do anything about. I mean, even like weddings, like December, there are normally many weddings, big weddings. But no, we don't have big weddings anymore. So I think for me, the most important thing, it's a very different Christmas. And all the things we used to do, we're not going to do them before. They would go and celebrating, being together. Now, even in our homes in the rural, you still want to keep social distancing and all. There are people you wanted to visit, maybe they are sickly. Now you can't even visit with them. So I think it's just to accept that there are things we cannot change and be able to know, so how better still can we work it around? So I think for me is for us not to be in denial. This is how it is. this is how things are. It is my responsibility. Of course, I can say, someone can even say, I'll still celebrate it like before. But really, we need to realize that we have a personal responsibility to know that things cannot go on as usual. So for me is, let's not be in denial. Let's know it's gonna be different and see still how different we can still celebrate Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's accept and do the serenity prayer. Well, Kista, I wonder what your view is when it comes to celebrating Christmas with COVID this year. You know, people usually have plans. There are those that are still going to pull up their plans and just carry on. There are those that are willing to change and adjust here and there. How do you think people are celebrating Christmas, and what is your feeling on this particular one?
Okay, thank you, Betty. We have a culture in Kenya, in Africa, I think the whole world, there's a culture that we have whereby children have certain expectations.
Yeah.
They maybe expect to get a present, they expect maybe to get new clothes. The old way, it's not different. We have a culture whereby rural areas, they expect people from town now to go visit. They take goodies there. Whereby this is the meeting time where families come together and celebrate together. It's like Thanksgiving in other countries. So I think there'll be a slight difference.
Yes.
But we can make it work. We don't have to make it that different. The only difference that we'll have this year is that we'll not maybe be able to meet as families, the larger families, and celebrate together, do the goat eating. But we can do it in a different way. I think maybe some of the ways we will discuss today on how we can celebrate it without risking other people or risking ourselves.
Yeah. You know, when we have to meet as family, usually when families meet, they forget about the regulations. They forget about the mask and they give the excuse they are family. They don't keep social distancing. I like that you have said that Africans or Kenyans have a culture where they have to travel back to the village and meet with their older, their parents and their aunties and stuff like that. But when they get there, since they probably have not met a whole year, they want to hug, they want to shake hands, they want to be together. And no one is really putting those regulations in mind because, this is family. COVID is there, COVID is real, and people have really held traveling and going back. But now that there is no lockdown, everybody want to rush and just get down there and up there and meet with their loved ones. I don't know how they are going to do this. Those who are up country, and they're waiting and expecting that we go down there and meet them. How should we do this, like you have said?
So I think, it is true. The parents are still looking forward. I've had my mom telling me, so when are you guys coming? So they still, as much as they feel there's COVID, they still definitely expecting us to go, everybody. So I think the most important thing is just to make plans. How maybe can people maybe meet outside, can maybe people are always converging in a house and all. Can people maybe look for an outside place where they can just sit and do cooking outside as much as possible to try and do social distancing? Because it's unfortunate, Betty, that there are still people who are saying COVID is not there. I don't know whether you have heard. They're like, hakuna COVID, unfortunately. But I think we need to be wise. And that's why I keep saying it's not about our leaders. It's also about us. What's my sole responsibility? So I think also you need to weigh. How is maybe our parent? Are they in a maybe they still have those, because most parents of our parents, the ages, of course, they are having a condition which would definitely make them more vulnerable. Of course, hypertension, diabetes, it comes with old age. So most of them are vulnerable. So the most important thing is to know at what state are they? What more care do we need? There are some who need more care than others. So I think it's for the children, the older children, the grandchildren, to make sure they have sought the precautions that need to be. But let us not say there's no COVID, because we do not want to regret come January. Yeah. Yeah.
So we travel in masks.
Yeah.
We meet our families in the masks and
Mm.
celebrate together in masks. Wilkista, is that what we should do at this time as we celebrate Christmas in 2020?
Well, from experience, the mask thing is working, yes, to some extent.
Yes.
But what happens when you meet your best friend? You know, we have that thing in our mind that this is my friend, she's close to me. She looks okay, doesn't have COVID. When you go back home, you meet your mother. You want to tell me you're not going to hug your mother because you believe she doesn't have. What about you? She doesn't have COVID. She can't even listen to that. They've missed you. They want to come close to you, hug you. Your sisters, your brothers, your aunts, they will definitely hug you. I don't know. I don't know with you, Betty, but I know that my parents are going to run, meet me, hug me, and invite me in our traditional African way. There is no way we are going to avoid that. So I think number one, yes, it's for us to ask ourselves, do we really want to go there, meet them, and maybe infect them? Because they're young, we could be asymptomatic. We could be pre-symptomatic, meaning that we have maybe COVID, but it's not yet showing. So are we ready to take the COVID to them? Because I've seen people traveling. I've seen the buses are filling up kama kawaida. Are we ready to take this COVID? Yes, Betty?
Yes.
Yeah, are we ready to take?
We are actually not ready. I don't think anyone, knowing at the back of their minds that when they get there, their parents who are older, the ones they care for, are going to be infected, would love to do that. If anybody has that kind of knowledge, they would rather stay away, they would rather stay back. But let's look at the general. There are even those who don't have parents, there's those who don't have the aunties back home. So they're just gathering as families. This year also, a lot of people lost their jobs. They have not had income. Other people have planned to travel, and celebrate Christmas in their normal way. How is Christmas going to be for those that have lost their jobs? What do they need to do so that they still have Christmas anyway?
Yeah, I think for me is what I said earlier. I would just build up on that. Accepting that this is what it is. Like the young people have been saying, it is what it is. Maybe I can use that phrase, but I'm not underestimating the pain that has come with them, with the situation. The loss of jobs. I mean, loss of livelihoods. That is really, really difficult. But I think for me is people can still, traveling, having these big kind of celebration gifts. It's, of course, that's our tradition. But then again, it's not all that makes our joy. How in our own little ways can we still celebrate? Can people, those who are not able to travel, can they decide to just have that day Christmas to just look back and say, look where we've come from. I mean, we've lost jobs. We have even maybe been kicked out. Maybe even we are being given food by our relatives. They are changaring every month for us to, but look where we've come. I've always said one thing, as long as we have breath, like I'm alive, I'm actually listening to GBS right now. It means that there's hope for tomorrow. So then, because how I'll finish the year will help set the pace of the beginning of next year. So it's very important to see how will I maybe just teaching what is the life lesson. It doesn't mean next December will be this way. It doesn't mean that I will not have another job. I mean, God is able to, but how we look at it, because at times I see when at times we are really bogged down by whatever is happening, it's even when something good happens, it bypasses us. You're like, only that. You don't even see the good in it. So the fact that you're healthy, There's somebody who, I mean, we've had many, even prominent people who have died out of COVID. You know, it's not, and you haven't contracted. Maybe you're not even sick, but you're healthy. So something to look at back for. I would really encourage anybody who has gone through loss of job or anything, even lost loved ones, to just sit back and say, let me look at the bright side. It's been difficult, but here I am. What do I do? Give me the serenity to accept the things as they are. Yeah.
With Kista, there are people back at home who still have very huge expectations. The fact that COVID is real hasn't really dawned on them, and they're still assuming it because it hasn't gotten to their home states. So they still have expectations like my children are coming home and they need to come in a style. They need to come with some shopping. They need to be loaded like this, like this. What is your word for such expectations at this time, looking at what has been in 2020?
Betty, I think it's our responsibility, like, to talk to those people at the village and explain to them the situation, because like my colleague said, you know, they're in that, some are in that phase where they believe COVID is not there. It is in town. Your COVID in Nairobi, huku hatuna COVID. So the first thing is for us to educate them and tell them there is COVID. We might come. We don't want to spoil their Christmas. We might come or not. And then we agree within ourselves. As a family, you agree, like maybe one person or two people to go back, we send maybe some money to them. They go to the village, they buy that mbuzi and do it. It means the place will not be crowded like the other Christmases. So we have to make them understand that there is a problem and it is real. If they hear it from us, they believe it more. There's a problem. We have to sort it, and this is the way we are going to do it. As they're expecting us, maybe two of us can go for COVID tests. We go, because COVID is usually done, and then you have to travel within 24 hours. You check if you're okay, you travel. You go to parents, ensure they are safe. And then for our children, it is good to talk to them. You know, children, they just enjoy what we give them. If the children are comfortable, you buy them whatever you're used to buying them wherever you are. Make a Christmas in your own homes. Make it fantastic. Do the Christmas tree. Do the lights. Get that mood in your own home. Do the Christmas songs. I mean, we can still celebrate Christmas in a very positive way. Enjoy it. People back at home still, they'll enjoy. They'll have their mandazi and a lot of tea and those drinks. We can still do it.
And have it in a very simple way. It's still very possible, even with the kids and whatever is just there at home. This time people are gathering and siblings are coming together. And still on expectations, there are those arrangements that families normally have. So and so will carry this, and so will carry this. As people are gathering, there are those many issues. In-laws are also coming together, and people have styled up. They have gone out of their way to style up and arrive in style. And so when they get home, there's that commotion that usually happens. How did so and so arrive? This is very common with siblings. And what were they carrying in their hands, and what are they presenting, and how do they look like? These are usually expectations and things that happen in homes and among siblings. And we want to see, how are you doing nowadays? I like the thing that those who are single, those who are still having one baby, the aunties are also waiting. They want to see, when are you, getting hooked up, what's happening. I don't know, Pauline, if you have heard of such things, when people are meeting and gathering, when families are gathering for Christmas or even back at home.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting, Betty, you're asking that, because earlier this week I posted on my Facebook page and I was telling people, don't be a stressor of somebody this, don't stress somebody this Christmas, by asking them, You see, when will you get married? When will you get a baby? What happened to, your job? Haven't you gotten a promotion? Looking, what have you brought? That's being really a stress. It's been a stressful year, first of all. So imagine adding on to people's stresses, maybe you're saying you want to look, so what have they brought? Unataka kwenda. So maybe one sibling, hata ajui, they don't even know what to do because they probably just want to go straight to the kitchen, put the little thing that they have. But I think let's make family a safe haven, a place where people know when I go just as I am, even parents, really, to challenge parents. I know as much as parents at times say they don't compare, but I'm sure my colleague Wilkista has had issues of people, saying maybe my sibling was more favored than me by my parents. Parents are also human beings. They love their children so much. But it's a human thing to see, but possibly the child who really comes with a lot or helps you a lot or gives you money every month, you kind of feel, you don't intentionally want to show like your favorite, but you kind of feel even you want to ask them more for their advice. Try as much as possible to neutralize that so that it's a safe haven, so that people are not feeling, like life is not worth it. Yet they have a family, but they're just feeling even at home, people look at me like there's nothing I can bring. I've never I'm not able even to buy shopping or anything. And so you feel, you don't even feel like going home, or even stresses like the questions I'm saying. And so a single person doesn't want to go home. They will be asked, of course, when are you going to get married? So they don't even know where to go. And that's why some people become suicidal. Because why should then people become suicidal? Yet they have families. So we need to make our families safe in a way that when someone is so stressed up, they know if I run home, there's no judgment. I will be received. People will hear me. I'll be pampered with love. I'll be given time to just be myself. So let's make that such kind of a place for each other as family members, siblings, and also parents and siblings. All right.
Well, Kisa, I guess you have listened to what Pauline is bringing out. And when she's bringing it out, I'm thinking about, the aunties who are always back at home waiting for the singles, and they're really waiting to attack. A lot of things have already attacked people this year, and they have not even gotten solutions yet. They don't even know how they're going to get into 2021. But here is more that is waiting besides COVID. There's the stigma that Nairobians are the ones who are bringing COVID home. So there's that stigma of you guys have brought COVID here. Apart from that, there are those that are waiting to attack you on your marital status, on what you are carrying, and parents are, great victims. Do such things happen in your home?
I believe they happen in most homes, because you can't just tell what the other person thinks. And I like what Pauline said, that we should accommodate people in our family who are maybe less fortunate, people who do not have families yet, and there are things that we cannot control from the outside. But the persons who are affected also cannot change these things, cannot change the way people think about them. These are questions that people expect every time you're going home. The expectations are kind of very high. And I think to some people, they have an advantage this year. Corona, the next year, I want to go home. There's Corona, because you don't want to face those aunties who want to know why you're not married, who want to know why you don't have these children, who want, it's a good excuse. And then you send them something. But on the other hand, if you're a person who's maybe lost your job, who feel like the society has set, it's not you, the society has set a time whereby you're supposed to be married. Maybe they tell you at 30 you're supposed to be married. Maybe that is not what you believe in. They believe that you should be having 5 children now, Betty, and you're having 2. Those are the setting standards of the society. So you have to talk to yourself. You have to encourage yourself and know that there are things that you just can't control. You cannot control maybe having children. They're like, you've been married for 5 years and you don't have children. What's happening? You know, it's rude, but you have to work from your side. You prepare yourself, you know that, yes, I've decided maybe I won't take the corona excuse. I'll just go home and face my parents. What do I do? What do I expect? They expect to see me carrying those big paper bags that I usually take to them, but I lost my job. So how do I face it? Like I said before, it is good to start informing them before you travel. When you get there, by the way, I saw a husband for hire on a lighter note. So I saw people offering themselves so that they can take you home and act as a husband for and you pay for that. But do not fake things. Just be yourself. Your must not come. Be bold enough. You don't have one, it is okay. You don't have one because you've not gotten one. You don't have one because one has not come your way. You can't force things. It's another year maybe that you'll face the little embarrassment, but you need to encourage yourself and be very bold. When they ask to apply, just say, I haven't met the right person for me.
Husbands for hire. That was a very interesting one. Pauline, let's go to the side of the in-laws. You know, you're going to the place where you're married and your mother-in-law is here, still with expectations. They're looking at their son and they're like, you mean 2020 was this bad, that this guy was never eating? What was the problem? And you're here with your mother-in-law and all she has is just complaints. How come the children look like this? My son looks like this, and you don't even cook. You know, the ladies are also preparing. You know, Christmas is that time when everybody wants to look good, even in the smaller way. So you have gone and done your hair, you have gone and done your nails, but your mother-in-law is so mad at you, and she just wants you to get into the kitchen and use the firewood, and she's not looking at your nails the way they're well done. She's just on your case. You know, you should do and that. She has a program for you. This is a time to relax. You know, there are those who say this is a time to relax, to enjoy, to have a good time before we get back to the busy daily life. Yeah. What do you think of this kind of a situation?
Wow. You see, if it is if it is someone who has been married for a number of years, of course, there's how you relate with your in-laws. So by now you should have probably navigated your way of doing things, and they probably know this is how I do things. But something else I always say, even as much as we do that, I mean, it is okay at times to lower your bars. You know, at times you just say, I'm just there for 2 days. So if this really matters to her, let me do it. So even now, as you prepare to go, as you make your nails, think about that. When I make my nails, will it be a hindrance to what I need to do? I mean, do I maybe really need to do them? If you really need to do them, I mean, there are many ways of doing it. People go there and they can get someone to help. Maybe you're thinking, this time I want to rest. It's been a stressful year. There's been a lot of the stressors at work. This time now, I'm not going to do work up country. Maybe you get someone. You could call and say, would you please find somebody that I can pay? Because you don't have to do the job. You can delegate. You can pay. That's why maybe you have a little more money. You can get someone to work with. It's okay. I mean, there are many times I've told my mother-in-law, I'm not washing those dishes. You take this, get somebody to wash. I mean, so it's not like you're refusing, but you're giving a solution. But I always say the way your relationship should be able, it's hard to tell someone don't do this or do this. The way you started off your relationship but try as much as possible to work out a healthy relationship, because they are part of you. You will never get away from them. Of course, if you are just being married this year, possibly it's your first time to go up country, remember how you begin is very important. Don't again raise your bar. So don't start a precedence you're not able to continue, because there's a way you start and that's how they will expect. But I think for me, as long as there's love, because love should be there. I know love for in-laws is not automatic, because it's their child you loved, not them. For them, you're building the relationship. Of course, it is unrealistic when people expect you to love. You can like and love the godly way, the love of Christ, but at times you just feel like maybe they're getting too much into your business. But just know that they're important people because they gave you a spouse, you know. So you can't totally dismiss them, but you can firmly show them, this is how I do things. This is how I would love, just even learning them also, not just you. Don't be selfish and just think about yourself. Think about them. Maybe they were really looking forward to having a lady. If we're talking about ladies, I imagine this time, to having a wife to their son, or the other way around, a son to be there. Maybe it's the other side of the in-laws that you're visiting. So for me, is whatever you do, just try as much as possible to have a healthy relationship with your in-laws, because it's for a very short time. You're not living with them. Really make the best of it that you can. Where you need to be firm, of course, you have your own boundaries. Really, you cannot be, you're an adult, so put also boundaries, but very respectable boundaries at that, of course, because you want their blessings as well.
Well, Kisa, you know, when you go to the village to visit your in-laws or wherever they are, there's usually that expectation that you're carrying a gift, especially now that it's Christmas. And with COVID, a lot of people don't seem to take this seriously. So they still have the expectations high there on them. And they're like, my daughter-in-law is coming, so I expect her to carry some kitenge for me, some rubber shoes for me. I expect them to carry this dress for me. It's Christmas. I have not seen them a whole year. My son has been there working, so she cannot just come empty-handed. So you show up and you have this gift for your mother-in-law or your sister-in-law. And instead of them receiving, because it's maybe so expensive, they begin to imagine what you have taken back to your mother. Because if you have given them this, then probably your mother has a better thing. And on the same thing that Pauline was addressing, they don't want to understand. They have that notion of a good wife should be able to go to the kitchen by herself, you know, and use firewood and cook.
That depends on your relationship with them. That depends on your understanding. You know them better because families are different, very different. You should know yours. You should know who your in-laws are, what they like and what they don't like, because you need to create a relationship with them. You're going to live with them for a very long time, so they're just part of you. So in terms of what you're taking to your parents, you're also their child. They also need to celebrate. So it's up to you to know what you'll take to your parents and what you take to your in-laws' place, because both of them are parents. So you should look after them. It is very important. And when you go there, the expectations they have, for instance, they expect you to go and use firewood. If you're not comfortable with that, why can't you look for maybe a very small maker? You go with it there, so that when they ask you to cook, you'll prepare your food. You are a wife, you should prepare your food. Or like Pauline said, you can get someone to come and do the cooking, but you won't be calling someone to do the cooking all the time. So I think it's very important to have a very small maker that you travel with. Very small, so that when you get there, you are able to also cook for them. They taste your food. Or it is important. Like maybe your food is good. That's why they want you to prepare food. And I think this is a challenge to new couples, to people who've not been married for long, because they've already not developed a very good bond. They've not drawn the boundaries, because when they get to understand, you know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, they know that if you have the money, you will give them that, you'll give that little present or the big present that you're going to give to them. But they should understand you. If you don't have money, just tell them, I don't have money. This is the only thing I have. Another option is do not travel. You can instead send someone else who's traveling to take that small gift. The fare that you were supposed to use or the fuel that you were supposed to put in your vehicle, give it out. We have M-Pesa. You can M-Pesa them and tell them, this time around, you know how the situation is, I not be able to travel. So have this money, buy a goat or buy 1, 2, 3, the things that I usually bring you.
Yeah. Pauline, let's look at the young couples and even just couples who have been there now for quite some time. You know, they are now also having issues. During COVID, we've had a lot of domestic violence because of finances and because of people having to stay together and doing nothing, and things are not happening as usual. So now it's Christmas. The kids are here waiting for clothes. People are expecting gifts. Parents in laws, I mean, all these people, sisters in laws, people want to come and visit your home as well. They want to make you the host. You know, you have these disagreements as a couple. There's a lot of push and pull. The children are here expecting, the in-laws want to come over, finances are not easy. Do you have such things on your plate right now, handling even as a psychologist?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and those are pressures, a lot of pressure, and I mean, it's normal to have such kind of pressure, but I think we have to be realistic. And I think I was saying, if COVID leaves us the same, then something is wrong somewhere, because I mean, this was a big lesson, a big. I mean, who would have said children would have been home for almost a year? I mean, if you told someone last year, they would have said, "What's wrong with you? Education is we have even known is not a basic need, by the way. You can do without it. I mean, you can, but we know food has continued to be eaten and whatever. So we have learned so much out of this. So I think it's just being realistic. Yes, I want this, but now I can't have it. So what do I do? Will I mourn? Will I, because the difference between someone who is able to accept is just the change of attitude and saying, I don't have this, I have this. I think COVID has come to teach us that we need to really differentiate between our wants and our needs. So I think this is the time to ask each other, what are our needs? It's a time to teach ourselves as a family, what is contentment? What is contentment? I mean, that it's interesting because we had such a kind of a discussion in our house. And I remember one day we went to the mall and the kids wanted a certain toy, each of them, and they bought. Then we had this discussion about contentment, because the following day we went somewhere and they were complaining, oh, I was not bought for this. I was not. So we brought up that thing of contentment, that even if we have something, we will always want something else, again and again. So one of my daughters said, by the way, mom, when we bought that toy yesterday, I came home and wondered, why did I even pick it? And I was like, wow, I liked that, because she also thought about it and thought, no, I'm not excited anymore. But at that time, I want that dress, I want that gift, I want to do this. So what we can't do, let us know we can't do, but how can we make the best of what we have to still enjoy what we have? So that's what I would say. I think being realistic, differentiating from needs and wants, and moving on.
Wow, that's really, I like what that small girl said. She was able to think, like, did I really need this? Unkista, to you, look at the teens, the young adults, the children that the parents live with, the children that we have at home. What's happening that we are not able to handle them and control them, even with this time of Christmas? They still want to go out and be with their friends. They still want to go party. What are parents going to do? They're feeling it's Christmas. Everybody should be allowed to celebrate. If I can't provide what they need, at least I should let them out to go and find it somewhere with their friends. Is that a good advice? Should parents actually do that? Because they're really under pressure. We want to go, we can't have this year, our friends are prepared this party, can we just go over for Christmas? What's the take on that?
I think it's our role as parents to talk to these young people and be role models. Because if we tell them that you're not supposed to go here, you're not supposed to go here, and we are going, it will be difficult for us to tell them it is wrong. So we should be role models, and we should be very firm. And to add on that, like in my house, currently I don't allow visitors. So if I'm not allowing people in my place, then why should they go anywhere, you see? So I don't allow people, and they know that. So why should they go visiting other people when I'm not allowing people in my home? I'm not allowing relatives in my home because of COVID. I'm not just allowing their friends in my home. They have to live with that for the time. I'm very firm about that. And I believe as parents, we should say and do. If we are not going, we say we are not going to the malls. We can only go maybe one person who must go, and we will follow some precautions. This is what we are supposed to do. We agree on that. I have teenagers in my house, and they have to follow those particular rules. It is our role as parents to talk to them and show them the way we want things done. It is Christmas, yes. You are going nowhere and no one is coming here. Let us celebrate in our own special way here. Think of ways we can do in the house, but not out there. That is not allowed for now until this thing is over. They've seen people dying. They've seen people who are sick. They know people. I point out, I tell them, you know, so and so has COVID, is maybe a relative, is maybe a friend, they've confided. So it is good to speak out and say, COVID is there. You will go out there and maybe get COVID. They've seen people who are young, their age, who get COVID. They've seen it in the news. It's not false. It's true.
Yeah.
So they have to follow rules, no going out.
Okay, so seemingly this time we have to create some new rules so that we are able to deal with this situation. Because, you know, many times the parents who actually want the children to have fun, but they are not able to provide the fun. And because it is somewhere else, they want to easily let them out and do that. So it sounds to me like parents are seemingly not having this conversation with their children. Pauline, what do you think is happening on the ground when it comes to parents and children relationship and where they have to go? Because the complaint they've always had is that home is boring. So they want to step out and have some fun. And they actually have seen that at home, there is nothing. That's why we can't travel, we can't go to different states. So they're like, Mom, yes, we understand. You don't have money for now. You can't give us a treat. We can go to the mall and buy whatever we want. But my friend so-and-so has this. Can we join them?
Yeah, I think just like Wikilsta is saying, we just have to have a culture of keeping on talking to them and explaining to them, watching, of course, with them the news. This is what is happening. And of course, because we know children have a lot of energy, the young ones, teenagers, they don't have energy. We don't have as much energy as they have. And so we are possibly able to actually stay home longer and not feel as bad as they feel. So we actually need to know, yes, they feel bad. And that's why even in school, in high school, they even do cross country, you know, they do games because they need to release that energy. So maybe as parents also, you can just find out a way of doing something together with them, you know, maybe very early in the morning, just going to walk. I meet so many teenagers, some with their parents on a weekend, or some, of course, unapata, they look like they have just been woken up and told, go out and walk, you know, they are feeling so bad they have to walk, but you just tell them, come out, we are going to walk, you know, and you do a whole 6 kilometers, 10 with them in the morning. So at least you know that some energy has been released, and also they have gained some positive energy, because even walking, the motion helps with their positive energy. So also remember that, just get into their shoes, empathize with them, and imagine these are young people. They love being with friends. They need to be with friends. What can you do? Maybe just go maybe to Arboretum with them, you know, or something. Let them go and just do a picnic. Tell them, okay, you guys, let's do sandwiches. Let's go to Arboretum. Or just walk early in the morning or late in the evening. But we need to empathize with them. Honestly, it's not been easy for them, but also to teach them that life at times does not give us choices. We go by what we get. If we are not able to have somewhere to walk, because not everybody, again, is privileged to have somewhere maybe they can really walk, yeah? Though, of course, I'm sure walking is easier, so anybody can get a place. But what if they are not able to? What happens? So it's telling them at times life throws to us things which are not. They can exercise early in the morning, go outside there, jump, do things, you know. And also, it is okay to be bored. I always say we don't have to do quick fixes with our children every time. If they say they are bored, it's okay. Even you get bored at times. Let them figure out how not to get. But of course, they should be discouraged for things like sleeping and all that. They should not do that. They should still be encouraged to keep their energies high. Yeah.
Christmas also comes with a lot of peer pressure because we are seeing shopping, and so we want to go shopping. We are seeing them buying particular dresses, and we want to do that. We see them having parties, organizing for this, and we want to do that. I wonder what conversations will be going around our home, because as parents, we kind of like to copy paste. We want to bring from the neighbor's house to mine, and so it becomes very difficult for our children to learn the other way, because that's what they have seen us do. And talking about what Pauline has raised is really important. I would wish that we really get what more advices with Kista. What more can we do? How else? How differently can we celebrate this Christmas?
About copying people, I think the best thing would be to find out from the children themselves. What do they want? What do they love? Because sometimes you can look at maybe your friends and neighbors and think that is the best thing for your children. And on the wants and needs, you need to find out, do they really need this? Do I have money for this? Because a neighbor can buy a PS and then you don't have money for that. Do you go steal because you want to follow what the others are doing? So it's good to talk to our children and then let them choose. Maybe they can choose like 3 things, and then you tell them this is what I can afford. And then look at it. Is it necessary? Do I have money to spend on it? I don't have to kill myself to get this child this. And then I think there are those small things that we can do with our children, to our children, make them feel good about themselves. And they can help us in deciding that. Sometimes it's good to talk to children. They know a lot. Just sit down with them and tell them, okay, this is what is happening, and I don't have money for maybe this thing that you had asked for. Is there any other thing that I can buy? You'll be shocked. They'll ask for something that is so cheap, maybe you can afford. And on doing even the small things, like just going out there and tengeneza ile mpira ya kati, you play with the kids. Yeah? There's so many things you can do maybe around near home without endangering your own children. I think it would be so sad if you found out your child maybe has COVID because of something that you'd have stopped. If you have the money to take them out there to a place, it's well and good, a place whereby it's out there, it's not enclosed, and if they're going to meet maybe a relative who is their age, you parents will be present, that show them what to do. Just put your masks on. This is how you're going to play it. This is how you're going to sanitize. Then we can still do so many things to these children to make them happy without endangering them. But those we can avoid, it's good to avoid.
Okay, we are getting to a close of our discussion today. And before then, we would like to hear more advice, more pieces of advice to the public, to the public. We all know that COVID is there, COVID is real, and Christmas cannot be postponed, So we still have to celebrate Christmas with COVID, with family, and have everyone, together with us, just as they always are. What is the general advice we are going to give to the public at this time? There's transports, people are traveling up country, people are traveling to different places, and they need to still have social distancing, in the cars, in the matatu that they're using. What's the general advice so that we are not celebrating and then shortly after we are hospitalized? Pauline, I will start with you.
So, sorry, Betty, I think I lost you a little bit. You meant about the COVID situation?
Yes. I asked about the COVID situation, the general advice you can give to the public at this time.
Okay.
So by
Okay.
taking precautions even as we celebrate, we are still
Yes.
traveling, we need to keep social distancing, and you don't want
Yes.
to celebrate shortly and then next we are hospitalized. Yes.
Yeah. I think for me is what I have really said about we have to take personal responsibility. I'm a believer that it's not about our government, it's not about our president. Uhuru is not going to come where I am. He cannot even come where I am right now anyway. So really, it's not about Okagwe, really. It's not about the announcements. It's about this and this and this is what we have been told. Those who have friends outside. Even yesterday, I was talking to a friend in Germany. She's telling me the numbers are still going up. Really, we need to just, first of all, accept this is true. And even when I'm doing wrong, I mean, even when we are doing, because many times we do photos with friends, even when we are removing the mask, I'm sure inside of you know, I'm not supposed to be doing this. So we know what is right and wrong. So I think it's very important, just even as we do that, let's be very cautious. Again, our children are watching. We have talked about children today. So they are watching. Habits are caught, not taught. So they are seeing. So at times it's us, we are showing them what we're not supposed to be telling them what we are not doing. So as much as possible, let's take responsibility. Let's not say it's the government's responsibility, Ministry of Health. It's my responsibility. When I take it that way, then I'll be able definitely to do what it takes for me, so that I'll not say maybe it's that day I relaxed. I should always be on guard because this is it. But then above all, of course, no, it's God who keeps us. So then not to be in fear, but to do, as long as you've done what you need to do, then you should know that it's God ultimately who takes care of us. So thank you very much, Betty.
Wow. Well, Kista, your general advice to the public as you celebrate Christmas even with COVID.
Number one, we all know what is right and what is wrong. We just ignoring it. We just don't want to do what is right. And we just follow what we've been told to do. Number two, our friends, our relatives, just because we love them, COVID does not know that. COVID does not know that you love this one so much, so they they're COVID free. No, you should know that any person can be having the COVID. So let us not relax just because this is a friend, just because it's a relative, because we love them, because we are close to them. It doesn't make them COVID free. Number three, we must celebrate Christmas. But how do we do it? Let's take precaution. COVID is here with us. Let us try as much as possible to stay with the families that we usually stay with. Let's try to avoid traveling unless it is necessary or your parent does not have any other person. It's good, like I said, to agree on send one person or two people, and then we do it outside where it's a bit safer than in the inside. Let's talk to our relatives and tell them maybe we'll not make it or the right way to do things. Let's just be safe. COVID is here with us. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming to talk to us and to the general public, even about Christmas with COVID. I mean, COVID is real. As you have said, if you don't have to do this, let's not do it. And we all know by now what is right. Let's stick to doing what is right. Thank you also, you all, for watching. This has really been a lovely time that you are there watching. I hope you have taken the necessary precautions that you have to. Please stay safe. Please be well. My name is Betty. I have been your host. I want to wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas and a happy 2021. Stay safe and God bless you. Enjoy your